Welcome back to the deep dive. So today, we're looking at a stack of sources you sent over that. Well, they go way beyond your standard chatbot.
Oh, far beyond.
We are looking at the next evolution of AI, the autonomous doer.
Right?
We're talking about agentic AI. These are the systems that don't just, draft a document for you. They actually execute workflow.
Multi-step workflows, yeah.
Yeah.
They're clicking buttons, they're booking appointments across completely different systems, managing inventory.
Pinging APIs without a human watching over their shoulder. They are digital action takers.
And that ability, I mean, it just completely changes the whole risk landscape, right?
Yeah.
The central concern isn't what the AI thinks anymore.
It's not the conversation.
Not at all. The critical issue is what it does. Because if you have an autonomous agent doing high-stakes work and your security team and your governance team are, well, they're on different islands, so to speak.
Siloed.
Completely siloed. That agent can outrun your human oversight in, literally seconds.
That speed difference is terrifying. And it brings us right to the main threat that all these sources point to, shadow AI. So before we even talk about controlling these things, we have to define this problem child. For you listening, when we say shadow AI, what are we really hunting for?
So shadow AI is basically any model or script or unofficial tool that a team spins up to solve a problem right now.
An immediate pain point.
An immediate pain point outside the official process. It's the solution built for speed. So, no tickets, no approvals, and this is the critical part, no paper trail.
It sounds innocent enough at the start.
It always does. It starts as maybe a little script to pull data from a sauce tool, but then very quickly that same tool is accessing sensitive customer data. It's calling third-party APIs, and it's writing to production systems that your security team has no idea even exists.
And it's often built with the best intentions, right? The team just needs to get something done, and they can't wait 6 months for the IT ticket to go through.
Exactly. But the moment that well-meaning script starts writing to your core databases, well, you got a massive, massive liability on your hands.
Right.
And that liability means we have to move away from these scattered sort of reactive checklists. We have to move toward what the sources are calling a unified control plane.
A single source of truth.
One cockpit, one radar. That's the goal for this deep dive. We need to figure out how to build that control plane to get a living, continuous picture of risk that follows every single move that agent makes.
Okay, so let's start by digging into the 5 core risks of this hidden automation, because it's clear why visibility is so important here. These things aren't just inconvenient, they're genuinely dangerous.
They are. And the sources give us some really good ways to think about these 5 failure points.
Let's start with the most basic one. If you can't see it, you can't defend it.
That's number 1. Hard to see, hard to keep safe. It's simple. If the security team doesn't have an inventory, they can't apply patches, they can't monitor logs, nothing. The analogy they use is an unscheduled aircraft.
If you don't know what's flying.
You can't manage its flight path, you can't make sure it lands safely. No inventory means zero defensibility, period.
Okay, what's risk number 2? The data problem.
Easy to leak. This happens all the time because these shadow AI scripts, they're often built with really permissive access tokens or credentials that are just, hard-coded into the script itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And when those helpers are copying and pasting sensitive info from one place to another without any real filtering, private data just slips out. We're talking PII, personal information, flowing freely because the agent was given a key to the data vault and nobody locked the door behind it.
And when something does go wrong, that lack of oversight slams right into compliance and auditing.
That's compliance trouble.
Exactly.
If there's no formal auditable record of what that hidden helper did, what model version it used, what data it touched, what policy it followed, then proving you follow the rules is, well, it's impossible.
You can't show your work.
You can't show your work. You can't prove how you got the answer or even who did the homework in the first place.
Now, what about permissions? Because that seems like the biggest danger when you add autonomy into the mix.
It is. That's risk number 4, too much access. It's the failure of what we call least privilege. Teams, they're in a hurry, so they grant the agent these broad, powerful permissions. They say, oh, we just need it for now.
Just to get it working.
Just to get it working.
Yeah.
And it violates the most basic rule of security. If the agent only needs to read one record, but you give it credentials to delete the entire database, you're just inviting a catastrophe. You've handed the keys to the kingdom to the intern.
And finally, when it does fail, the mess just multiplies the damage.
Messy incidents, yeah. When a hidden agent breaks or gets compromised, nobody knows who owns it, what systems it can touch,
Hmm.
or how deep the breach really goes. So cleanup means searching every room in the house instead of just knowing where the spill happened.
Okay, I see the need, but I have to ask the big question here. The whole reason shadow AI exists is speed. Teams want to move fast. If the answer is this big, centralized, unified control plane, aren't we just trading one problem for another? Doesn't that just become a new bottleneck?
There's a fantastic question, and it's a vital tension to address. A unified control plane, when it's done right, is actually an accelerator, not a brake.
How so?
The goal isn't more paperwork, it's to automate the safety layer itself. The fastest way to scale this stuff responsibly is the safest way. You build the guardrails once, and then every single team can use that same pre-vetted control plane. That's way faster than having every single project go through its own individual security review.
That makes sense. Okay, let's get into the specifics of that flight plan then. The 5 steps. Discover, assess, govern, secure, and audit. So step 1 is just seeing everything.
It's discover. And it has to be continuous. You need automated tools constantly scanning your cloud projects, your systems, your API logs, looking for those unscheduled aircraft. This can't be a manual check every 3 months.
It has to be real time.
It has to be real time. If a new agent starts pinging 3 different databases, the control plane needs to see that and pull it under oversight in minutes, not days. Visibility is oxygen.
Okay, so once you've found it, you have to assume it's hostile until you prove it's not. That brings us to assess.
Yeah.
And you mentioned automated red teaming. What does that actually look like? How do you red team an agent?
So this is where you stress test the policy layer. You're basically using other AI models to probe the agent's behavior. We're looking for 2 main things. One is prompt injection attacks, tricking the agent. But the other, more critical one, is tool misuse.
Give me an example of tool misuse.
Okay, imagine an agent that's designed to draft customer service replies, but it also has a tool to issue small refunds.
Right.
The red team will test if a clever prompt can make that agent skip the human approval step and issue a huge bulk refund instead of just a single one. We're probing for those brittle configurations before an attacker finds them.
So once it passes that stress test, we get to active enforcement, the govern and secure phase.
Yes, and this is where you enforce what we call runtime policy. This isn't a static firewall. It's a dynamic layer that's checking every action, every output, every tool call as it happens.
In real time.
In real time.
Yeah.
It ensures least privilege. So if an agent tries to call an API it shouldn't, or tries to write sensitive data to an unencrypted log, the control plane just blocks it instantly.
Yeah.
And it logs the violation and alerts security.
And none of this matters without the last step, accountability, the audit.
Absolutely essential. You have to have automated logging that generates this immutable, actionable evidence for every single AI action. This log has to record not just what happened, but why it happened.
The whole context.
The whole context. What data was used, which governance rules fired, who the user was, the exact model version. That level of detail is what makes an audit take minutes, not months.
Okay, let's put this framework into action where the stakes are, as high as they get. Let's talk about healthcare, where agentic AI meets a real patient.
Okay. Imagine a standard doctor's visit. The room is calm. The doctor is actually making eye contact with the patient because they're not typing furiously into a laptop.
And there's a small consented mic in the room capturing the conversation. So what's the agent doing in the background?
It's the silent partner. As they talk, the agent is drafting the entire clinical note. The history, the assessment, the plan. It's fact-checking against the patient's chart. It's flagging uncertainties, proposing orders, preparing the summary. But, and this is key, nothing is final without human approval.
So how do our 5 safety mechanisms keep that patient safe in that moment?
It starts with the note itself. That agent was stress-tested for accuracy during the assess phase. So the output is a tidy, trustworthy record. And anything it hears in the conversation that clashes with the existing chart gets flagged immediately for the doctor to review.
And what if the agent hears something about medication? That's where least privilege is the ultimate safety net, right?
Exactly. This is read-only privileges in action. So if the agent hears the patient say, I'm taking metformin 1,000 milligrams, but the chart says 500 milligrams, it raises a mismatch alert.
It flags it.
It flags it. But because of its runtime policy, it only has read-only access to the medication list. It can draft a correction for the doctor to approve, but it is physically blocked from silently changing that prescription on its own.
Prevention over correction. Mandatory here. But what if? What if the agent makes a mistake? Let's say it has an outdated knowledge base and it flags a totally safe drug as a potential allergy risk.
Great question. That's where the audit trail is invaluable. The doctor sees the false alarm and just dismisses it.
Mm.
The system, through the control plane, logs that action instantly. It records why the suggestion was made, Model A, version 3, used an old rule set, and what the doctor did.
Human override.
Human override, with a reason. And that evidence lets the hospital find the bad rule, update the model, and prove to regulators that the human safeguard worked exactly as designed.
And what about segmenting the tools? How does that protect data?
Tool segmentation is critical. It means the documentation tool that writes the note has minimal permissions. It can't export bulk patient records. The scheduling tool that books a follow-up can't see billing info. The agent only gets to call the tool with the absolute minimum access it needs for that one approved step.
The win is human. It's more focused patient care. It's safer processes.
Exactly.
Okay, let's switch gears to the public sector. The goal here is efficiency, but also maintaining public trust, which is fragile, the scenario. Filing state taxes and renewing a fishing license at the same time with one government assistant.
Right. It's Saturday morning, you're interacting with a simple chatbot or a voice assistant. No more navigating two horrible government websites. You just authenticate once.
And how do we protect privacy when this thing needs access to my financial records and my personal data from different agencies?
It starts with privacy by design and consent. The assistant confirms who you are, then asks for very specific consent. Can I access your tax records and your licensing records? The runtime policy then enforces that limit. The agent cannot go look at, say, your vehicle registration or welfare records, even if it theoretically could. It's firewalled off.
And because it's the government, you have to know where the information's coming from.
That's source transparency. The agent doesn't just give you a number, it shows its work. It says, we pulled your income from the state tax system and your address from the DMV. It puts it in plain language. That allows you, the citizen, to spot an error and correct it, which builds that crucial trust.
What if a citizen or the agent itself tries to get creative with the prompts? Like, hey, can you pull up my neighbor's tax data?
That's a perfect test for the filtering and security layer. The control plane is always watching the input and the output. If a prompt tries to bypass those guardrails, what we call an adversarial prompt, the filter blocks it. The agent would just respond, I'm only authorized to access your personal records. It defends itself.
And when it's time to actually submit and pay?
Again, least privilege. The agent creates the drafts.
Yeah.
When it calls the state payment system, it only sends the absolute bare minimum details needed for the transaction. The total amount, a payment token. It is blocked from sending your full Social Security number to the payment API, for instance.
And the final layer, full traceability after I hit approve.
Non-negotiable for public trust. After you approve, the system records everything in an unchangeable audit trail. What data was accessed, which rules were applied, the model versions, the exact time of your approval. It creates a full legal chain of custody that protects both you and the agency.
Okay, let's unpack this and bring it all home. The key takeaway here seems to be that the risk is all about what these agents do, not what they say. And the only way to scale them responsibly is to unify security, governance, and audit into that one control plane.
You can't fly fast in the fog. You need that radar. And we've seen how that unified approach can actually speed things up by automating safety. So to leave you with a clear action plan, let's just reiterate the 3 core necessities from the sources for getting a handle on this.
Give me the final action items.
Okay, number 1, visibility is oxygen. Shadow AI is going to happen. You have to have automated discovery to find those unapproved agents and pull them under the radar instantly. Number 2, red team by default. You have to treat your assessment phase like a continuous war game. Make automated red teaming the new normal. Catch the prompt tricks and the over-permissioned agents in hurtful, not in the headlines. And 3, least privilege is your seatbelt. Every single agent gets only the smallest key that could possibly do the job, enforced by that runtime policy. So when something fails, the damage stays small. It's contained. It's fixable. Because remember that continuous audit trail. Evidence beats promises.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And ultimately, the real win here isn't just technical, it's human trust, it's time recovered. For healthcare, that's safer orders and real eye contact with the patient. For the public sector, it's earned trust and faster service. This is really how agentic AI grows up.
So if unifying security and governance into one control plane is the move, and continuous discovery is essential to that, consider this. What is the single biggest cultural hurdle in your own organization? Is it fear of punishment, a lack of time, a belief in total autonomy? What is it that stops your teams from revealing their unscheduled aircraft and pulling them under the official radar? That's the internal challenge you have to solve before any of this technology can really work.